my channel. It's me, Jenisha Stanley again, and today I'm going to review the book, Who Was Stephen Hawking? This book was written by Gigliotti and illustrated by Gregory Copeland. This book has 8 chapters and 106 pages, including the timeline of Stephen Hawking's life and the world. Well, who is Stephen Hawking? Well, Stephen Hawking was a very famous cosmologist who had a very rare disease called ALS. Stephen Hawking was born on January 8th, 1942 in Oxford, England. His parents' names were Frank and Isabel Hawking. So then he had 2 younger sisters, Philippa and Mary, and also an adopted brother named Edward. He was adopted whenever Stephen was 14 years old. And most importantly, their parents had lots of books. So they were stacked on top of shelves and they were everywhere. And guess what? The children even read during dinner time. And Stephen was usually by himself playing, and also sometimes people would spot him laying on the ground staring at the sky, thinking big thoughts. In his school, his classmates recognized that Stephen was very smart and extremely funny. And also, because of his smartness, in the 1950s, Stephen, along with his friends, whenever he was a teenager, they built a computer together. And guess what? It wasn't small like the ones today. It was the size of a refrigerator. And guess what? Since they were so smart, they actually used parts from old clocks. How crazy is that? And then his parents wanted him to study medicine, but Stephen himself wanted to study physics. So in his college, he went studying physics. And then after that, he's studying cosmology. Well, what is cosmology? Well, cosmology is the study about how our universe was created. After his 21st birthday, Stephen had horrible news. He had a very bad rare disease called ALS. Well, what is ALS? Well, ALS is a disease that affects your muscles and it tries to disable them. And the horrible thing is, it has no cure. It still doesn't have a cure today. So, there was nothing the doctors could do for him. He could live for another 2 years. The doctors predicted that. Stephen was shocked and sad. He didn't like that. Stephen had thought that the disease kind of like put him in his own black hole. But still, he took it as a challenge, went back to the university, and worked harder and harder on cosmology. How brave is he? Stephen got married to Jane Will in 1965. And then after that, he lived more than 2 years, but beyond the doctor's predictions. He was so happy and could complete his PhD in 1966. But he needed a cane to walk and was losing strength in one of his arms. So he couldn't even type the paper needed to complete his PhD. So he asked Jane to help. So she typed it in while Stephen said the words. Look, she's typing. And then finally, they had 3 kids. One named Robert, born in 1967. Another, Lucy, born in 1970. And then their final child, named Timothy, was born in 1979. Then he started doing research and started working on black holes. Well, what is a black hole? Well, a black hole is not a hole for real. It's only just an area that can take in massive amounts of energy. Not even light can escape. So I'm going to tell you something. So if there's someone canoeing and there's a waterfall close by, if you can paddle strong enough, you can manage to get away, like in the form of positive energy. But if it gets over the edge, like negative energy, you cannot go out. You cannot get back up the waterfall. So this theory is called Hawking radiation. But if too much negative energy gets in there, the hole will start shrinking. And once the hole reaches a certain size, it will explode, releasing everything it took back into space. After more than 20 years of having the disease, Stephen completely lost his voice. He could no longer speak, so someone could type out the words. And then he finally got a high-tech wheelchair. There was a 12-inch screen. Since he couldn't even move his hand around, so there was a sensor attached to his glasses. It sensed the movement in one of his muscles, so it twitched and it gave it a command, some speech, anything. So sometimes Stephen twitched it and it gave a small command to move it around the screen. Since his muscles were completely disabled, he could no longer move. So it twitched, and then finally there was a command or anything. He got so many awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Barack Obama. Look, so he's receiving the medal from President Barack Obama. Stephen Hawking's life was extremely difficult. He couldn't walk, he couldn't talk, he needed help all the time. He just could do nothing on his own. But he never gave up hope to succeed in life. His doctors predicted that he would die at 23 years, but he really lived up to 76 years. That was 53 years more than the doctors predicted. And he became one of the greatest cosmologists in the world. And his life was full of big questions. And throughout it, he worked tirelessly to come up with the right answers. Look! All of you children, you should have learned one very important thing from Stephen Hawking. Even though you might have extreme difficulties, never give up hope to succeed. So, everyone go and read this wonderful book to learn more about Stephen Hawking. Friends, thanks for watching my videos. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel to stay tuned in on my new videos. I'll fly over to my next video. See you there.